The Toyota Synergy hybrid drive is the greatest thing since sliced bread, but there's a lot of misconceptions about the system. I myself had tons of misconceptions about the Toyota hybrid Synergy drive system. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 misconceptions about Toyota's amazing hybrid technology. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. All right, let's jump right in. Let's go over the top 5 misconceptions about the Toyota hybrid system or the Toyota Synergy drive. Now, I had these misconceptions way back since the 90s because I basically assumed a lot about this funny hybrid system that you heard about, and I had all these sorts of misconceptions, and I think most people do. So let's get right to it. The first misconception about the Toyota hybrid drive is that it has a belt-driven CVT or constantly variable transmission. It does not. It does not have a CVT with a steel push belt and 2 variators. That's common in Nissans and other vehicles. The Toyota transmission in the hybrid system is actually an electronic eCVT is what I'm trying to say. So this will be a set of constant mesh planetary gears, and it's a very reliable and robust system. There's no clutches, there's no belts, there's no hydraulic fluid moving actuators. It's a very simple and robust system. All right, myth number 2 ties into myth number 1, which is the hybrid system in the Toyota is more complex than a standard manual or automatic transmission. And that is not true. When I first heard of this Toyota hybrid, I thought, oh, it's a traditional, whatever, hydraulic transmission and a motor, and then somehow they jammed an electric motor and batteries in there, and now it's even more complex. Well, it's not like that. It's actually less complex than a normal automatic or even manual transmission. The actual automatic or manual transmission is out of the equation. There's no hydraulics, there's no clutch, there's no bands, there's no brakes, and instead you have that hybrid Synergy drive, planetary gears, and you have an engine on one side of the gears, and you have the electric motor on the other side. And the synergy between the two, in other words, the relationship between the electric motor and the gasoline engine, allow for infinitely variable transmission or speeds. So it's a very simple system. All right, the third myth is related also to the transmission and more or less the drivability of the Toyota hybrid system, and that is people think it has a rubber band feel or a rubber band effect. And this kind of mythology comes from the belt-driven CVTs or simply ignorance, not knowing that there is no belt in this electronic CVT that Toyota hybrids uses. And so people tend to imagine that there is some sort of, rubber band effect that they're somehow conceptualizing. But there is no rubber band effect because, as I just mentioned, there is no steel belt and the gears are constantly meshed. So when you call for power, the ECU is going to tell the engine to immediately do its thing or the motor to immediately do its thing, and it's going to control the relationship between the two for instant power. There is no rubber band effect in a Toyota hybrid. If you feel one, it's only in your mind. There's nothing technically inside that Toyota Synergy drive that would ever give a rubber band feel. So that is not true. All right, the fourth myth is that the hybrid Synergy drive system on the Toyota is slow or it has less power, it's somehow weak or underpowered. That is not the truth. Quite the opposite. The amazing part about the Toyota hybrid Synergy drive is that the whole point of making a hybrid is not so much for fuel savings, though that is a consequence, of course, but the whole point of a hybrid is to get the torque, the instantly available torque from an electric motor matched up with the power band and high RPMs of a gasoline engine. So you have the best of both worlds. What that means in the real world is you have an insane amount for what it is, torque, going through your hybrid system. You're going to feel instant torque whether you're taking off from a light, going uphill under load, or you're towing something, whatever. The torque is instantaneous. So this notion that hybrids are somehow weak or anemic is actually quite the opposite. You're going to get more torque out of this hybrid system, a flatter power band, and best of all, when your car is loaded up, it doesn't hunt for gears or do anything weird or squirrely. The torque is just there all the time. All right, the fifth and final misconception about the Toyota Hybrid Synergy Drive is that it's not reliable. In other words, it's kind of going into myth number 2, which is the complexity means it's not reliable. False. There's first gen and second gen Priuses from the late 90s that are still on the road out here in Southern California today with 300, 400, 500,000 miles. Some of them have 17-year-old batteries in them. Now, of course, everything breaks after a while, but they already have been seen to go 300,000 miles without issue. You have to ask yourself how old you're going to be in 300,000 miles. Think about it. You probably don't want to think about how old you're actually going to be in 300,000 miles. Is that enough for most people? Probably. Okay, you're going to get tired and get rid of the car. But the thing is reliable because, as we just mentioned, the genius of the Synergy Drive, it's a very simple, robust system. If you found this video helpful, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a great, great day.
My door, I've been feeling the boom. This is really after 4. The rest of what that core was really just for. Yo, they got the sword, and let's go cruising in your Ford. Watch out, yeah, sweet snow is the deal. As she shouted, it's the funky lesson 1 to the grill. I should have known that something wasn't right in walking. The biggity boom was just ticking and clocking. A night boy in plaid is passed from his dad. Another straight in the fight, man, but he wasn't from the right clan. To stop all the nonsense, the fences.